house temporarily until she got on her feet. Well, a few weeks turned into a few months, and the woman didn't pay him a dime of rent. Then she made it clear she wasn't leaving, and he eventually had to have a marshal evict her. He gave her ample time to collect her belongings. She chose not to, so here they are. He's accused of
cable boxes, clothing, and electronics. What happened?
Their judge put in the order that we could retrieve our...
How do you know him?
Through my daughter's daddy.
All right. And so what is your contact with him? How did you end up moving into his house?
He offered us to live there.
How much were you paying in rent?
$450.
Every month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long did you live there?
Would have been 3 years this April.
And you paid $450 every single month?
Yes, ma'am.
When did he first give you an inkling that he wanted you out?
Before the agreement was over with.
When did he give you an inkling that he first wanted you out?
I would say October 2012.
Okay. And when he tells you that, does he tell you why he wants you out?
No.
All right. And you say before the agreement, what agreement?
There was agreement between him and I concerning us living there.
Okay. What did you have a lease?
Agreement.
Do you have a
lease?
A written lease?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see the lease?
Your Honor, I have it, but I can't seem to relocate it.
Yeah, find it, because that's what we're here on. We're here on your right to live there, your right to how much time you had to get out, a lot of other things. And it's important to me to know, because according to him, you never paid a day of rent. Is that your testimony?
That's correct. Yeah.
Not a day.
Not a day.
And she was not a tenant there. She was a squatter there. So yeah, I'd like to see your lease. Okay, I've lost my patience. So next question for you. You end up being told by him he wants you gone, and you don't go. And you end up in court to tell her to go. How long did she live there?
2.5 years.
Why would you let her live there rent-free for 2.5 years?
I didn't. It started in April of 2012. She was evicted. I didn't realize she was evicted from where she was living. Her boyfriend, who's a friend of mine, said that they had to stay in a hotel, it's a welfare hotel in Staten Island. And I basically lent them $300, $100 a day for 3 days. Then I realized she needed more money, and I didn't have the money to help them, but I had the house that was empty because it was going to be renovated that summer. I said to them, listen.
Who's them?
To her and her boyfriend, to Miss Green and her boyfriend.
And a child?
They had 3 children. She has 2 little girls and a son.
Okay.
Well, I allowed them to stay in the house. I told them that there's no heat. It's April.
At that point, your friend is living with them.
No, he's not. She's staying there only with the kids.
Okay.
This because I couldn't afford to give them money for the hotel anymore.
Well, you don't have to give them money for anything. They're grown people.
I'm helping them because she says that she needs time to get in. She's going to get into a family shelter.
Okay.
It's September now. I've told her I go on September 1st to evict her. It's pouring rain.
Have you talked to her about it?
I've spoken to her every day. We spoke, and we were still on good terms at that point.
Okay.
I went on September 1st. It was pouring rain. It's a Wednesday. And I said, you know what? Wait till Friday. I will have somebody help you get the stuff out on Friday. I leave. I come back Friday. I'm not going anywhere. My advocate told me I don't have to go anywhere. I said, what?
Had you already filed a lawsuit?
No. This is just in the beginning. So I decide. September came and went. I missed my opportunity.
This is of what year?
Of 2012.
Oh my gosh.
2012. September came and went. I missed my opportunity for the renovations. I was part of a program. They had to do it in the summer. So I actually go back and forth with her and her boyfriend through the winter. I'm considering the kids. It's winter time now, right? So I'm not going to throw her out in the winter because I'm thinking she's going to leave eventually. It's going to happen. Come April of 2013, she doesn't leave. So I finally filed.
Can you prove that you were paying rent?
Those receipts I gave to the court.
So can you prove you were paying rent?
Not at this time.
Oh, this is a good time. Go ahead. January, February, and March. Then, that you who are responsible for your children's education are not homeschooling your kids because you've left everything over there because you picked other stuff besides your kids' homeschooling books because you're either a perjurer or wholly unequipped to homeschool your kids. It's one or the other.
Kicked her and her kids out in the streets. But the defendant says the plaintiff was a brash squatter. Let's listen.
So she tells me I served her with the papers to get evicted. This
is now what month?
In May of 2013.
Does she end up leaving?
No.
So you have to go to court. You have to file the case.
I didn't file the case. I got sick in 2013.
Who was that guy?
This is my son.
You couldn't help him out?
Well, he got sick.
I ended up in the hospital in July. Didn't get out till September. I've had 12 surgeries since then.
Oh, goodness.
But this was something that as soon as I was able to get out of the hospital and I got better, in 2014, I filed again.
You have the patience of Job.
No, I was in the hospital. I couldn't do anything. I just filed in 2014. They gave her till October 31st. She has to leave, they told her. She appeals it. I went to court. They gave her more time. She said she was going to look for a place. She got an extension again. They finally, on February, over the
20th of January.
January 20th, the marshals come to the door. She knows she has no more appeals. January 20th of 2015. They knock on the door. She doesn't answer. They literally have to break the door down. She's upstairs in her pajamas with her kids. She didn't have, a lot of the furniture belonged to me. She had clothes and toys. That's what she said to me and to my son. She said she'd pick it up. She'd call, she wouldn't show up.
So then she goes to court, and then she gets an extension until March.
No, she didn't. What she did was she ended up saying that I wouldn't let her in the house to get her stuff. So she goes to court, and they said these two dates on this document stating that she has.
So now you have March, so we're January 20th, and now.
No, I'm back in the house though. She's not in the house anymore.
With her stuff?
Just her stuff it's just clothes though. It's not really a lot of.
So you're back in the house, and she has March 2nd and March 3rd, and what happens?
To come get it from 9 to 5.
Right.
I called her on March 1st.
Well, hold on one second. I want to hear from her. What happened
From
then?
9 to 5.
Right.
On March 2nd, I went there. The doors were locked. And on March 3rd, I went again to try to get my things. And at that time, his son was throwing his stuff out.
Okay. Now let me hear from you folks on your version of that.
On March 2nd, she calls me at 10, sometime after 10.
In the morning or at night?
In the morning, to tell me she's coming. She hangs up. I call her back, as I'll be able to show you, 7 times that day. She never answered the phone. The next day is March 3rd, the last day. I text her at 7 in the morning. I text her at 9. I text her several times that day saying, time is running out. This is your last day. She shows up. I'm gone now. I have doctor's appointments. My son is still there. She shows up with a truck.
What time does she show up?
To be in the afternoon, like about 3.
And what happened?
Her belongings on the side of the house. She took a few pictures. She had a U-Haul. She pulled up, took a few pictures. I asked if she wanted help loading the U-Haul. She says no thank you, and she gets in the truck and leave.
And she didn't take anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Do you have the pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see the pictures? And can you explain to me why you're taking pictures instead of taking your stuff?
Because they had the gate locked. I couldn't get the U-Haul in there to get it.
Do you know how desperately this guy wants to be rid of you? He is trying so hard to get rid of you, and you're telling me he blocked being able to get rid of you?
Well, he was already rid of me. We just needed to get our things.
Well, yeah, you did. You needed to get your things. That's exactly right. Did you have a gate in the way so she couldn't get her stuff?
No, you're not.
But I also asked her if she needed help
The
loading
distance
the truck.
between the stuff and the street is closer than my distance from me to you.
According to you, what's there are $1,500 in cable boxes. Cable boxes are this big. Why didn't you just take them with you when you left?
Because at that time, I didn't know where I was going.
Where did you go? A house?
Yes.
Whose house?
Mine.
You own a house?
No, I'm buying it.
You're buying a house?
Renting to own, yes, ma'am.
You're renting to own a house?
Yes. I was just honored, Your Honor, to get out there with my 2 children.
I don't know what you're saying. Why didn't you take your cable boxes with you? $1,500 worth of cable boxes that you are suing for. More importantly, you're so honored to be there with your children. They're how old?
Well, now they're 13 and 6.
And you're homeschooling them?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you now? Because part of what you're suing for is $3,000 in homeschooling materials.
Yes, ma'am.
That's lovely. So how were you homeschooling your children between January and March?
I took what I could.
Really? Because I think you could have taken the other $3,000 worth of books. I think that should have been your priority. I'm worried to death that you're homeschooling your children.
When the marshal came, he stated that I had 30 days to get my belongings.
Do you hear me? I don't care how well you have learned to play the system, because your playing stops here. You're looking me in the eye and telling me, under oath, that you left $3,000 worth of homeschooling books in a place and you want him to pay you for it. We're talking about January, February, and March, then, that you who are responsible for your children's education are not homeschooling your kids because you've left everything over there because you picked other stuff besides your kids' homeschooling books because you're either a perjurer or wholly unequipped to homeschool your kids. It's one or the other. Okay?
Well, at this
I
time,
think it
Your
may
Honor,
be
I'm
both.
using FiOS.
Stop talking because my ears can't take it anymore.
Looks like the plaintiff's got to be schooled. Will she get $5 grand? Milian rules next.
A good Samaritan.
I need a little push, to get off the ice.
A bad situation.
He says, you damaged my spoiler.
What are you doing pushing the guy's car?
Next, People's Court.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, my question, is homeschooling as good as regular school? You're in school, right?
I am.
What do you think?
I think it's, I don't know, I think regular school provides an environment that would be conducive to making more friends, and homeschooling, it's pretty tough to get out, so.
Fair point. What do you think?
I think it's great for children to go to a school for their social development.
Anybody a fan of homeschool here? Anybody?
I would say you learn more.
Huh?
I would say you learn more.
Really?
I would say so. In fact, Dennis Prager has a whole thing about it. He says homeschooling is better, you learn more.
I don't believe it. Sorry, I don't believe it. Going inside the courtroom.
In case it's any wonder, verdict for the defendant.
Well, playing the system is one thing, but you can't play Judge Milian, so you lose this case here. What's your reaction to this?
God help us. That's all I can say.
What does that mean?
Patience is the weapon that forces deception to reveal itself.
That's great. So what lesson do you think your kids learn out of this? Like, what are you teaching?
Forgiveness.
Beautiful. All right, sir, so come on in here and nice guys finish. Yeah.
Finally.
What's your, yeah, at least they finish.
At least we finished.
So what do you learn out of this whole thing?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. 30 days is too long. That's what I learned. You know what? I told my wife we'd never help anybody again, but it's not true. We'll help somebody. We'll just be a lot more careful this time.
Okay, good. Harvey?
Kurt, I gotta tell you something. When people speak in rhymes and